So now we'll talk about the second point. Okay. So second point is, children, change in body shape. Okay. So the second point is about change in body shape. Now, what is the meaning of change in body shape, children? That means there will be like the difference will come in the body structure of a male and the female. Okay, the difference will come in the body structure of male and female. Now, which kind of difference can be seen in the male and female, or which characteristics will be developed in male and female? See, first of all, when we talk about girls, the hip region will become little broader. Okay, the hip region will become little broader, and broader like what? Why? Because fat starts getting deposited over there. Okay, the fat will start getting deposited over there. So if I talk about the girls, so this is very special characteristic that hips become little broader, and the pelvic region also show changes. It becomes little, gets little widen up. Okay, so the and what else? The mammary glands. Okay, the mammary glands get developed. Okay, the mammary glands get developed. The pelvic region gets widened, and again the hips, the area near the hips become broader, and the fat start getting deposited over there. Now, if I talk about the male, children, so what are the characteristic feature of a male? See, obviously muscles will be more developed, isn't it? Shoulders will be more broader. So these are very malish characteristic. Typical male characteristic is what? A broad shoulder, and the muscles are well developed. In fact, in this age, children the teenagers, they are quite very much interested in developing their muscles also. After a certain age, maybe after 17, 18, okay, many of them, like lot of children, a lot of boys especially, I should say, often do various kind of exercises to develop the muscles. Why? Because this is a very specific characteristic of the male to have very well developed muscles. Okay. So let's talk about this now. Change in body shape. So what are the structures? What is happening? What I am telling, the changes can be seen in the boy and a girl. The change will be seen in the male and the female. Which kind of change? The body structure will change. Okay, the body structure will be changed. So what are the changes which can be seen in the female? Okay, if I write female first, okay, so what are the changes? So first of all, the pelvic region gets widened. Okay, and what can be the other change? Hips become little broader, and fat deposition takes place near the hips. Okay. So what are the typical changes in the female? Pelvic region gets widened, hips become little broader, and fat deposition takes place near the hips, and development of mammary gland. Okay, so development of the mammary gland takes place. Now if I talk about male, So what will be the main characteristic feature, children? Muscles will be more developed, isn't it? Muscles will be, have you ever seen a girl showing muscles? No, isn't it? But you all know that boys will be showing muscles, they want to develop the muscles very nicely, isn't it? So this is a very special characteristics of males. What? To have well developed muscles. So muscles will be well developed. Shoulders become broader. Okay, so what is the characteristic in male? Muscles will be more developed and shoulder become broader. Shoulder becomes what? Shoulder also become little wider. Again a typical male characteristic. Okay, now so even the chest region becomes wider. Okay, so muscles become more prominent, isn't it? In males the muscles become more prominent, the chest region become wider, and even the shoulders become little broad and strong shoulders, isn't it? That is the reason, like you know, the body structure of male and female is like that, you know. It's basically the difference is in the body structure. That is the reason why a man can work physically. I am talking about physically he can work more. He can pull, push, like suppose, say for example, even if a bike gets stuck in the mud, so girls cannot do it easily. Why? Because the problem is where in the difference of the structure. Okay, the structure, the body structure is only different. Girls never will be, the girls won't have developed muscles as the boys have. The shoulders, girls won't be having the broader, the wide shoulders, but the boys will be having, and that is the reason, due to this basic difference in the body structure, there is a difference in the physical capability. Okay, the work which the men and a boy or a girl can do. Okay, because the basic structure is only quite different. So these are the differences which can be seen in the body shape of a girl or and a boy in which puberty. Okay, so what are the characteristics, children, when we talk especially about girls? So pelvic region gets widened, the hips become little broader, fats starts getting deposited over there. Okay, and development of mammary glands. All these are typical female characteristics which can be seen, this changes comes in the girls. Okay, now males, these changes can be seen in the males. Which one? The muscles become developed, more prominent, more wider, shoulder becomes broader, chest region becomes more broader and wider. Now one more very peculiar change, you know, like you can understand whether a girl is speaking or a boy is speaking, isn't it? Why does it so, children? Because and you know, till a particular age the voice of girl and boy won't make so much of difference. Okay, it will be like almost, you cannot make a difference. You will say like this is a childish voice, isn't it? But when the child comes in the puberty, there is a great difference in the voice, isn't it? So the voice become little harsh, you know, thick. The voice of the male, the voice of the boys, how it will be, children? It will be harsh, it will be little thicker, isn't it? The frequency will be less, it won't be shrill. Okay, so we'll be talking about now third characteristic. So what is third characteristic, children? Change in voice. Okay, it is what? Change in voice. So what is the third characteristic, children? It is change in voice. So this is again a very peculiar characteristic. Okay, a big difference between a girl and a boy, and without you don't have to pay attention ki this is a girl's voice or a boy's voice. No, immediately we can understand, immediately one can understand that this voice belongs to a girl or this voice belongs to a boy. Why does it happen, children? Because there is a harshness in the speech of in the voice. Okay, in the voice of the boys, the harshness is there. Okay, that because the frequency is less, so the voice is thick and harsh. But why is it so, children? Why? So first of all, I'll write this like how the sound is different. Okay, so in males, frequency, or I should say pitch, I will write, because you have learned this chapter. So even the frequency is correct, but we can even write the pitch. So in males, low pitch voice, low pitch. Okay, I am writing just the gist. Okay, pitch is how? Low, and voice is harsh and thick. Okay, and why is it so? I'll tell you, but before that, in females, shrill is high. We have read this, or we'll be reading it in the next chapter in the sound. Okay, so the frequency is more, so high pitch sound is there. Okay, so and soft voice is there, isn't it? The voice of the girls are quite, they are like soft. Okay, so in males, pitch is low, the voice is harsh and thick. Okay, and in girls, the pitch is high and the voice is soft. It won't be harsh or thick. But why is it so, children? So it is so because atoms of apple, okay, here it get developed. Okay, this get more developed in boys. Okay, the larynx, what is the meaning of larynx, children? Larynx means the voice box. Okay, the voice box in the males become more developed. It is more bigger. Okay, so when the voice box is bigger, so what is happening? The larynx is bigger, so the voice is thick. It also depends upon the muscles, how it is attached, So this all detail we are going to talk in the chapter sound. So I won't be discussing much over here. Okay, so what is the difference, children? So I should write over here, Adam's apple in boys I am talking. Okay, Adam's apple becomes more developed. Okay, more developed. Whereas here, Adam's apple cannot be seen. Okay, it cannot be seen. Okay, it cannot be seen. So how the voice is over here? Here it is harsh, thick. Why? Because you can see over here one, like outgrowth sort of a thing. You can find over here. You can just understand this is Adam's apple. So even the it is more developed. So the sound is different. I can write larynx becomes, there is no place to write over here. I will write above. Is bigger. Okay, so these are the characteristics. Okay, see, now we are talking about the third one, that is change in voice. It's very clear, it's self understood that there's a difference in the voice of boys and the girls. Why this difference is, and what this difference is, student? First of all, what this difference is. So this difference is about the pitch. Okay, in boys the pitch is very low, in the girls the pitch is very high. Okay, now why is it so, children? This Adam's apple, you can see in especially boys, you can see over here that this part shows little, growth is seen over here. So due to this development, due to the development of the Adam's apple, what happens? The voice become thick, it becomes harsh. Okay, whereas in girls this part is not visible only. So the voice is very soft, okay, and the pitch is very high, and we can understand that this voice belong to a girl or this voice belong to a boy because in the difference of the pitch, because in the difference of the Adam's apple, because in the difference of size of the larynx. Okay, so as all these things are different in male and female, and so even the voice differs in male and female. So just listing out. So what is the second point? It is change in the shape of the body, which we have discussed enough. I don't feel that we need to revise this. So there's a change in the body structure of the boys and the girls. Then the next point which we are discussing is change in the voice. That means there is a big difference between the voice of the boys and the girls. There are some boys who has got voice like girls. So even if you remember one movie I saw, I am not getting the name of that movie. One boy was there, his voice was exactly like of a child. Okay, so then he was not able to get a good job. So one child, I am not getting that name of the movie, but this movie is all about children. Okay, it's children's movie. So one child, the hero of that group, okay, that little ones, he says, why don't you go and try in radio station? So he get a job in the radio station because their only voice will be like the voice is audible, isn't it? The face is not seen. So then nobody loves because the person who is listening to you won't be able to know whether you are a girl or a boy because he is just listening to you. So just a simple example I have given, but we can understand that this voice belongs to a girl or this voice belongs to a boy, isn't it? So why is it so, children? Because in the difference in the pitch is very high in females, it is low in male. Okay, then the voice of the boys are very harsh, it is very thick, rather in the girls the voice is very soft, melodious, isn't it? Okay, and what is there? Adam's apple can be seen in the boys, it is very well developed, but in the girls it cannot be seen. Okay, larynx is bigger, in the boys it is quite smaller in the girls. So all these characteristics bring the difference in the voice of the boys and the girls. Okay, so now we will talk about the next point, that is fourth one. Okay, now we will be discussing about the fourth point. Okay, so the first 3 points were what? First of all, we discussed about in this age there is a sudden increase in height, and that is the reason the period is also known as growth spurt. That means there is sudden increase in the height of the boys and the girls in this period, in this age. Okay, why is it so? Because the bones of the arms and legs get increased, but the height also depends upon the heredity. It is a hereditary characteristic, isn't it? Then it also depends upon the food which you eat. If you take proper diet, then also the growth will be proper. After that, second point which we studied was about the shape. The difference in the structure of the male and the female, that is quite obvious. And the third one which we discussed was about the difference in the sound, in the voice. So that is also very everybody is familiar with that the boys and the girls, they have different voice. But why is it so? Because in the males the Adam's apple is more developed. Okay, so what is happening? The pitch is very low, voice is thick, voice is harsh, larynx is bigger, whereas in the females the pitch is high, the voice is soft, isn't it? Why is it so? Because Adam's apple is not as developed as in the males. Now we are going to talk about the fourth point, okay. So when we talk about the fourth point, children, before writing I would like to discuss a little, like here, this is a very common problem in the teens, the pimples, the acne, okay, which comes on the face. And this is the age when the child is very, very cautious, when the males and females are very conscious about their their height, their health, their figure, their pimples, their skin, their hair, okay, they are very, very concerned about all these things. And that is the reason when the child in this age, obviously in this age only the person will get the pimples, the acne, he becomes little panic, he becomes little that feeling is there, like no, this shouldn't be there on the face, isn't it? You might have seen, you must be seeing many ads on the television that even the one pimple is there on the face, the child doesn't wants to go out, isn't it? Hiding and all these things. So why is it so? Because in this age the changes are there, okay. So physical changes, the body structure is changing, so many changes can be seen, but along with that certain hormonal changes are also there, due to what? Due to which the child undergoes many different changes, like emotional changes are there, and so he is more conscious about his figure, his hair and all this thing, and so this small thing, acne on the face becomes very large for the person who belongs to this age group, isn't it? So what is this? Why is it so? Because in this age the sebaceous gland and the oil glands, okay, sweat glands, these oil glands become more active, very, very active, okay. So when the oil glands are active, children, obviously the oil will be secreted, more oil will come on face, okay. You might have heard somebody saying like, yeah, the skin is oily or the skin is dry, isn't it? So when the skin is oily, so what will happen? It give the chance to all dirt and dust to get accumulated, and which give rise to pimples, okay. So what we are talking about? We are talking about the fourth point, children. What is that? Increase in the activity of the glands, okay. So let me write the heading: increase in the activity of sweat and sebaceous gland. Okay. So these glands become more active. When these glands become more active, so oil starts coming up. When oil gets when more of oil is there, when the skin becomes oily, so dirt, dust all get it gets accumulated, sticking, the thing become very sticky, the face become very sticky, so it give rise to the pimples, and of course due to many other changes also in the body, okay. So when these glands become more active, okay, when these glands become more active, what it give rise to? It give rise to pimples. So when these glands becomes active, the skin becomes more oily, and it give rise to pimples or acne, okay. So this is a change in the the characteristics, the features, the lot of changes takes place in the body, and so the due to which these glands become more active, and when these glands become more active, they give rise to pimples, acne on the faces, okay, of the youngsters, of the faces of the teens, okay, which is a major problem. Believe me children, this is a major problem, because when I teach them, I know every now and then, every one or second child has this problem, and they become more sensitive, very sensitive towards this, okay. So they want to do everything whatever is possible to remove pimples from the face, to to reduce the pimples, to make the skin glowy, shiny and all this thing. So what is there? This is two things going simultaneously. This is a characteristic feature, like it is seen, pimples can be seen on the face, but why it get increased, this problem get increased, or why it is taken as a problem? Because of the several hormones which are being secreted in the body, okay. The phase is which kind of phase? Here the child he becomes more cautious about his physique, okay, his looks, he becomes more conscious about his looks. So that is the reason this is taken as a problem in the teens, isn't it? So this is our fourth point, increase in the activity of the sebaceous or the sweat or the oil glands or the glands, okay. Now we will talk about the next point. Now see, when we talk about adolescence, okay, main characteristic of this age is what? Development of the sexual organs, isn't it? Development of the sexual organs means in the male, the testes will start developing sperms. This is very special feature again, okay. The testes will start developing sperms, and in females the ovaries will be releasing eggs, okay. So what is there? This is the maturity period, this is the characteristic, okay. So the reproductive characteristic, the reproductive feature, the reproductive development takes place in this phase, okay. What development takes place children? Reproductive development takes place in this stage. That means the reproductive organs of male and female, okay, reproductive organs of boys and girls will get developed in this particular age, okay, and the person or the male and female will become biologically, please note this point, don't think in the other way. So they will become biologically ready, that means their body can produce sperms and eggs, okay, biologically ready to reproduce, okay. So this is again a very, very important characteristic. So I'll just write this, development of, okay, so it's which point now? Fifth point, development of sex organ. This chalk is making so much of noise, okay. So development of sex organ. So what is this children? This is a peculiar characteristic feature of this adolescence or the puberty age. What is there? That the sex organs in the males and females will be well developed, okay. So sex organs in males and females get developed, isn't it? I won't be discussing about the reproductive organs of males and females because it is already being taught to you, isn't it? In the previous chapter we have already discussed that what are the male reproductive organs, okay, and what are the female reproductive organs, and how does the gamete and all this formation takes place. So I won't be discussing much over here. So development of sex organ means what? Sex organs in males and females get developed. Okay. So what is there? What happens actually? So testes will be, I am not able to write children over here, will be producing what children? Sperms. Okay, and ovaries, there is no place to write. So ovaries will release eggs. Okay, so there is no place. Okay, so what is happening here? Ovaries are releasing, mature, there is no place. I'll write like this only. So testes will definitely, okay, the testes will definitely release what? The testes will form the sperms and the ovaries are going to release the eggs. Okay, this thing we are going to read in detail, but not here. That will be taken included in the other part of the same chapter in the another topic. Okay, so as per now what we are talking about? We are talking about development of the sex organs. That means the sexual development can be seen in the males and females. Okay, so the organs, the body is ready, can produce, can reproduce, isn't it? Biologically it can reproduce, can give rise to a child. Now we'll move to the next characteristic children. Now next is about the hormones which I was talking about. Okay, so the next characteristic is release of hormones. Okay, see, now this is the age when certain hormones, they start secreting in the males and females. Okay, so about these hormones also we will be reading in detail, but now as a point, what point I will be discussing, what is that? Okay, so attraction can be felt, between the boys and girls, like, or the attraction is there with the opposite sex, isn't it? And this is quite natural, children. If it is not there, that means the child is quite unnatural. Okay, see, I am not saying this, this is being told by the psychiatrist, that all this characteristic feature, like if the child is not very conscious about his pimples, he is not very conscious about his, his characteristic, that means there is certain things which is not normal in that child. Okay, so this is also very normal characteristic feature, that a attraction is there between the opposite sex. This is also as natural as we eat food, as natural. Okay, so now what all these is happening, because these all things, the sudden change in the emotions can be seen. Actually the teens, they have the I can say mood swings. Sometimes they be very happy, sometimes they are in depression, sometimes very sad, sometimes very hyper or very sensitive. Okay, you might have heard many a times, like parents scolded for one or the another reason and the child committed suicide. Why? Because the emotions, because the hormones, okay, hormones are, showing the effect. So all this changes takes place in this age, and so the behavior is quite different, and sometimes it becomes, difficult, this behavior becomes difficult to tackle with. Okay, so what I am talking about, children, I am talking about the hormones. Now when we talk about the reproductive hormones, okay, the hormones which are responsible for the formation of sperms and the eggs. Okay, so this is what in males the hormones which is secreted is, I will write over here. In males the testosterone, okay, the testosterone is the hormone which is secreted. So testosterone is the hormone which is secreted in the male, and in female estrogen is secreted. Along with this, certain other hormones are also secreted, which will be discussing in the endocrine glands. Okay, so for now what I mean to say is the secretion of hormones takes place, okay, or the production of hormones takes place. Production of hormones. After studying, I think this is the last or second last characteristic feature of the changes, okay, in the puberty. Change is the characteristic features, the changes which can be seen in the adolescent stage, okay, during the puberty. After this, we are going to talk about the endocrine glands, and when we will be studying endocrine glands in detail, at that time we will be discussing about all these hormones in detail, okay. So, that is the reason why I am not discussing the hormones much over here, but just when we talk about what are the changes which can be seen in the puberty, okay. So, all these changes, what are the changes? Like increase in height, okay, that is a difference in the shape, the body structure changes, okay, sexual characteristics are developed, reproductive organs get developed, isn't it? Then the voice get changed. So, all these characteristics shows can be seen in what? In this period. So, we have to discuss now production of hormones. So, children, the hormones are produced in different hormones are produced in males and females, okay. So, males, when we talk about, so in males, okay, sex hormone which is produced, testosterone is produced in the males, is produced, okay. So, what is this in males? Okay, testes produce, okay. So, testes produce the male hormone, what? Testosterone is produced in where? In the males. And when we talk about females, in females, ovaries produce what, children? Estrogen hormone is produced, which is again sex hormone. Along with this, many other hormones are also there, children, okay. Along with this, many other hormones are also there, which is responsible for all the features which can be seen in the males and females, okay. But for now, what is there? Okay. So, now there what is there? Now we are talking about the male, okay. Okay. So, in males, what is the hormones? Testes produces testosterone hormone, okay. It is a sex hormone which is produced by the testes in the males, okay. And in females, estrogen is produced, okay. So, these are the like the hormones which are produced by the what? The male reproductive organs and the female reproductive organs. So, due to the secretion of these hormones only, what is there? Like all the further characteristics, all the further steps or the developments can be seen, like all these hormones play a great role in the reproduction, okay. So, these hormones are very, very important. So, now we have discussed, we discussed 3 points, and after that what is the fourth one? Increase in the activity of the oil glands or the sebaceous glands or the sweat glands, due to which the pimples or the acne can be seen on the skin of the teens. Now, after that development of sex organ, the sex organ in males and females get developed, okay. And also the hormones hormones are secreted by these developed organs. Okay, so testosterone is the male sex hormone and estrogen is the female sex hormone. These hormones, why it is important, children? Because these hormones play a great role in the process of reproduction. Okay, so these all are the characteristic of the what all these are the characteristic features which can be seen in the adolescent stage. Now we will talk about the next one, growth of hair. When we talk about growth of hair, children, in both males and females, the hair growth can be seen under the armpit. In the pelvic regions also the hair growth can be seen. Okay, in males especially the hair can be seen on the chest and mustaches and the beard. The hair can be seen on the face also. That means the facial hair also get developed. Okay, this is again a change which is there in the adolescent, in the teens, in this stage. Okay, so what point we are talking about? We are talking about the growth of the some unwanted hair. So where does this hair grow? I can say under the armpit. In the pelvic regions the hair growth can be seen in both males and females. Okay, but when we talk especially about the male children, the beard and the mustaches can be seen. That means the facial hair can be seen. So let me write about this. If I talk about males, so facial hair. Facial hair means what? The hair which grows on the face. So where does it grow, children? In the form of the mustaches and the beard, the hairs can be seen. Not hairs can be seen, children, hair can be seen. Okay, so male's facial hair can be seen and also in the pelvic region. Okay, under the armpit. Okay, and also in some chest area. Okay, when I talk about females, we all know facial hair, mustaches or beard won't be there. Okay, but the hair under armpit, and in pelvic region. Okay, so the hair can be seen in these two areas, or the hair grows in this especially two areas. Okay, so this is all about the characteristic features of the what are the changes during the adolescence, what are the developments which can be seen. Okay, now after this, children, one more very important change is there which can be seen in both males and females. When we talk about puberty, when we talk about adolescence, when we talk about teen children, there is certain characteristic features, common features which can be seen in both males and females. What are these, children? The teens, they become intellectually very, very developed. You know, always they will be busy in thinking something. They have their own fancy world. They have their own dream world. You know, for them the life is very easy and very different because they have not seen the reality of life. Okay, so whatever their dreams are, they are just very different. Oh, I'll do this. Every time they are busy in analyzing and making conclusions and planning also for that. Okay, now take the example of one child. If one child is there, one child is there, he will keep on, I'm talking about one child who is very good in studies. So what he'll do, he'll keep on planning something. Okay, after this I'll have to do this, I'll have to go here, I'll have to go abroad, I'll start my this thing. And these action, I'm not saying that these are not good, action plans are not good. Sometimes it is very good, it's always very good to have plan in life, it's always good to move according to the plan in life, but when the plans become more fancy, okay, like it's full of fancy and it's away from the real world, then it becomes difficult, then it really becomes difficult. Sometimes, so sometimes their demands, become, they start comparing themselves, You talk about any teen, they will talk about big cars, okay, something very big they will talk about. They won't talk about doing something small and then growing and then getting success. No, they won't talk about that. So whenever there's a discussion with the teens, they have one common thing in them, that they will talk about something big, something which is very fancy, something which is which suits dreams. So we'll just talk about that. Now we'll talk about what changes, what changes can be seen in the thought process. So please note this and then we'll talk about all those points.